You are now listening to Redbeard Talks Redbirds, your home for all things Cardinals baseball. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Redbeard Talks Redbirds. I'm here with my buddy Matt Johnson.
Hello, everyone.
We're sitting at the courtyard by Marriott, right across the street from the stadium. It is a rainy day in Jupiter right now.
Rainy day.
But figured we'd do a little podcast. We'd talk a little bit of baseball. It is almost the end of spring, and, you know, regular season's right around the corner. And I'm a little less confident than I was a few weeks ago. Where are you at? Where's your head at right now?
Well, I'm a little worried myself, considering the team we're supposed to play today beat us by 4 runs last week.
Yeah.
And it wasn't really, the pitching was kind of what I expected, but the defense was really letting us down. That's what had me worried, because you think about, I know I want to go to pitchers first, but other than that, I guess we did go with a 3-run home run. Played the second inning last week against the Marlins. Again, we can't have a lot of that.
Well, so there's a few sides to that. A, it's still spring training. They don't count. B, the defense has been a little suspect, but I'm not too worried about that. C, the pitching really concerns me. That's where I'm worried, honestly. Like, we're getting close to the regular season, and our best pitcher is rehabbing at the moment, and our second best pitcher is the only one who has actually looked pretty good, pretty consistent, and everyone else is not really performing where I want them to be. We got Miles Michaelis, who's looked pretty good. Lance Lynn had one really good start, 2 very questionable starts. Kyle Gibson it's not been good all spring. So yeah, I'm a little concerned.
Well, who's the top of the staff you think right now? You gonna say Michaelis?
Well, yeah, absolutely. Sonny's rehabbing right now.
Yeah, we don't know what he's got and how bad his injury is.
Yeah, so, Sonny was looking great to start the spring. Miles seems to be on track to have a bounce-back season, which we need. I know Lance Lynn is capable of doing well. It's just, what are we going to get? Kyle Gibson, I know he's capable of doing better than he's done, but it's not looked good so far. And then you've got Steven Matz, and I know he's got what it takes. If you look at the second half of last season, he was way, by far, our best starting pitcher, believe it or not. And actually, the first part of the season, he did pitch well in spot starts. The offense did not support him whatsoever.
Yeah.
But then he'd have a great outing and then a terrible outing. So it took until the second half of the season where he really started putting something together. If he can continue that this year, that will be a huge step in the right direction for us to have a decent season.
Oh, I agree. I think what we need also more is we need more light out of our starters.
Big time.
To get into our 5th and possibly the 6th inning.
Well, so that's the reason we made the moves we made.
Yeah.
But then that brings up a whole other question: is the age and the durability of these guys. And if they can't make 25, 30 starts, then that doesn't help us. Exactly.
So that's a question right there. But again, I still look at our pitching staff last year. Our middle relievers didn't help us out really at all.
And there's 2 arguments there. There's one, their workload was too big. And then there's another where you say, well, yeah, they didn't get the job done. So, it's kind of both of those, right? You're not helping your relievers by having starters that can't go deep.
Yeah, they're going, in every game pretty much with the 4th round or 4th inning. What do you expect?
If your bullpen's supposed to cover 4 or 5 innings every game, you're not going to last.
No, and I think that's the majority of our pitching problem last year.
Right.
Because we didn't get a lot of consistency out of our starting pitchers to really get deep. How many people really hit complete games last year? And I know that's not really a thing they do anymore, but if you're getting guys who can't really give you at least 7 once a week, you're going to get tired out by the time in July.
Oh, yeah. That's exactly what we saw last year. Yeah. Everybody got worn down and worn out. And, there's a trickle-down effect. When all of your starters are not performing well, they're struggling, that puts more stress on the bullpen. And now the hitters are feeling more stress because they feel like they got to put up 6 runs to have a chance in any given game. And so I kind of feel like that's what we experienced last year. I think everyone probably agrees with
Well,
that.
if you look at our season last year, we lost. I mean, more than a handful of games, 9-7.
Well, we had 18 legitimate blown saves, and then a lot of other games that we should have won and didn't.
So you go half of those, more than half.
I know.
That's being lost. Let's say you go half of them. Now we're 500.
That's actually something I'd like to talk about a little bit. I don't want to go in depth today on it, but for as bad as it was last year, if you get 10 of those saves converted, and if you have just a little bit more offense to be decent, all of a sudden that's a very different season from what we had last year.
Yeah, and like I said,
we weren't that far away, honestly. When you think about the lack of offense up and down the lineup, and the lack of production by the starters, and all the extra stress on the bullpen.
And really, it all started really in the playoffs of 2022. We win the Central, we go into the playoffs, and then get swept out.
Lay a total friggin' egg.
Huge egg. And it was, something that I didn't really expect to see or want to see because, again, you got two Cardinal legends finishing their career with that series.
That was heartbreaking.
Yeah, it was extremely unexpected.
Yeah.
I thought we didn't well.
I felt like we had a team in 22 that might have a chance to do something special. And it was a huge letdown.
Yeah, and it was, so you get that, but again, if you go back to last year, again, 18 blown saves. But how many games do you win if you got just a decent pitching staff? And again, if you look at those, I guarantee it's playing between 10 and 15 games also. We scored, again, more than 5 runs. You get more than 5 runs in a Major League Baseball game. If
you ought to win 90% of
doing
those
his
games.
Job, you should win those.
Yeah.
And again, that's really, when I look
it was
at
across
our
the board.
pitching staff, that's where we got served.
Yeah.
Again, the blown saves, and again, they're not supporting the run.
Well, so while we're talking about that, now granted, we're almost done with spring. We kind of know where we stand. We know that Middleton is out right now. We know that Sonny Gray is a big question mark at the moment. We're hoping this is not a lingering injury. But with our knowledge right now, how do you feel about our pitchers, our rotation, our bullpen guys? How do you feel right now?
Starting, like I said, Miles is obviously going to, if Gray's not back for opening day.
I don't think there's any chance. They basically said he won't be.
So we've got to go with Nicholas as our starter.
Right. He's already been named the opening day starter.
Opening day starter. And you go with probably Larkin, but again...
Larkin?
I'm not Larkin, I'm sorry. Lance...
Lance Lynn.
Lynn, I'm sorry. Lance Lynn, and then...
Steven Matz, Kyle Gibson.
But see, then again, it's really not assuring with Gibson again in the fourth spot.
Yeah.
Because who are the Dodgers going to send him against this breakfast? They probably got the...
we don't want to have that conversation.
And again, how do we match up?
Not well.
Yeah. Exactly.
Not well at all. So that's kind of what I was getting at. For me, here about 4 or 5 weeks ago, I was pretty bullish on the Cardinals. I was predicting 90, 91 wins.
Mm-hmm.
I've watched them in spring. I've been to a lot of the games, and I'm a little concerned right now. I'm a little nervous about how this is going to turn out. Now, I do have to, bring myself back in. And okay, it's just spring training. You've got the weird situation where you've got your veterans here, and they are just trying to get their reps in so that they're ready. And then you've also got the mixed in with the young guys that are trying to get their numbers, trying to get their stats, trying to show what they can do. And they're both competing on the same field, but with completely different motives and driven by different types of outcomes. And so that's an interesting situation. It's hard to judge everyone fairly based on that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not as bullish as I was. I don't think I'm as nervous as I was about a week ago. It has been interesting to see some of the projections around for the National League Central this year. The Cardinals have been projected to do everything from 4th place and 78 wins all the way up to 1st place and 87-ish wins. And so there's a lot of movement there.
Yeah, 87 wins to win the division. That's just something.
I think 85 wins can win this division.
Well,
we have a lot
we won
of
the division with 81 that year.
81, 82. I think it was 81. You're right.
Yeah, 81 wins, and we won the World Series. So I guess that's the thing, is it just depends on,
This is an interesting division
Yes.
where no one really stands out. Everyone's kind of good or getting a little bit better, but no one's really good.
Well, if you look at the Brewers.
Yeah.
I mean, right now, if you look at their pitching staff on paper compared to our pitching staff, what do you think?
I mean, Woodruff isn't starting the season right now, so I guess I would give us the edge on that. But we've got so many question marks. So, okay, I'll give us the edge for now until we see what happens if something goes wrong.
Yeah, I mean, and I guess that's the thing is so Woodruff goes, so the Brewers go.
You would expect to some degree. They're also scrappy, so who knows?
Yeah, and again, I don't expect much out of the Reds.
The Reds are going to be better than you think. I think the Reds are right with the Cardinals and the Cubs fighting for the division championship.
Is Eric Davis back on the team? Barry Larkin back?
Have you seen some of their good young talent?
Yeah.
Dude, they're swinging the sticks.
And I guess I haven't paid attention to them all spring, so I'll take your word for it, Alex. Maybe they're better.
I think they're going to be better than you think they might be.
Mm-hmm.
And the Pirates are coming up too. They'll probably finish in last place, but they're not far out from being a decent team.
Yeah. And again, the Pirates kind of are the masters of their own demise, though.
They have been for a long time.
Yeah, and that's why I said I don't really worry about the Pirates as much. And again, I could be eating crow at the end of the season. I really could. But I think that the team we really have to worry about is the Chicago Cubs.
Yeah. Jordan Montgomery's still out there, and I've been very, very frustrated with at least from what I can tell, lack of wanting to go get some more pitching from the Cardinals.
Yeah.
And then, the news comes out the other day, Blake Snell signs a 2-year deal. And the whole thing was, Montgomery wants a long-term deal. Cardinals don't want to do a long-term deal. Well, obviously the market has shifted.
Yeah.
And these guys are now, they're probably going to kind of, to some degree, take what they can get because they want to play.
Yeah.
Can we make a deal? Like, there's a whole TV show. Let's make a deal. Can we do something here? Because we need it, and he needs a job. Let's meet in the middle. Let's give the guy 2 or 3 years. Let's give him 30 whatever million per year, and let's have a real shot of doing something. Because right now, this team, in my mind, we are hoping to win the division right now.
Mm-hmm.
And once we hopefully win the division, I don't think we have a prayer of doing anything in the playoffs with this team the way it is right now. That's kind of where I'm at.
Surprised. Unless there's a surprise out there. But again, I mean, you think the Cubs are willing to do a trade with us?
A trade? No. But they're also willing to spend some money. They went and signed Craig Counsell to the largest MLB manager contract in the game.
That was confusing.
Like that,
yeah.
I was shocked by that. But, I mean, I guess maybe they think he's the second coming of Joe Torre or Tony La Russa or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That was a lot of question marks there. So what are you thinking about next here?
Well, position players, we've still got, question marks and everything around there. We've got some guarantees to some degree. Like, okay, Arenado, we know he's going to be solid. Goldie, we know he's going to be solid. We pretty much know what we can expect out of Contreras behind the plate.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to be good. He's not going to be
better
great.
This year. I think he'll be better this year just for the fact because I think he's had a full pitcher's catcher's session and
a full spring training with all the guys.
With all the guys, and I think he'll be better than he was last. Because again, last year I think he really kind of
He was hamstrung big time, and it was not of his own doing.
Got beat up for not really something that was his fault.
Yeah, I agree with you.
And I think with Contreras there for a full spring now, I think we're going to have a good turnaround of that at least.
I'm looking forward to
Yeah,
that.
guys last year didn't know if they wanted him to catch him.
Yeah, that was a weird situation. Got weird quick.
Yeah.
Okay, so we feel pretty good about those three. Mason Wynn, I think most people say they probably feel pretty good about him. There's some questions there, but I think most people feel pretty good about Mason.
No, I do too. Yeah.
Okay.
Again,
we expect the defense is going to be solid, and the offense will hopefully be pretty good, right?
What do you think in center field?
Dude, that's the big question. So, Tommy Edmond, our best fielder at 4 or 5 positions on the field, he's out right now, and it's a huge question mark of when he's going to be back and what he's going to be worth when he comes back. So right now you're back to Dylan Carlson, and we know that he's a solid defender. He's going to be fine in center field, but it's what can he do from the offensive side? So for me,
and can we hit strong enough around him to where we put him at say 8th or 9th?
Well, see, that's the thing. Like if he's going to hit 215, 230 this year, that hamstrings is big time. Because if Tommy Edmonds in there, you know he's going to do at least 265, maybe 300 if you're lucky, because he's got that ability. But Carlson, we haven't really seen him put it together for long so that we can know that he can handle this. And this is my personal opinion. I've not heard this a lot elsewhere. I think Dylan Carlson needs to give it up from the left-handed side of the plate. Be a right-handed batter and see what you can do. I didn't realize this until the other day. My buddy Blake was telling me that from the right side of the plate, he's hitting like 300, 325. And from the left, he's hitting like $130.
Well, let's just say
make a change.
Yeah, let's say he goes 225 this year. And again, we've had successful teams because again, the DH hasn't really been around that long where you can have. Let's say he's your pitcher, okay? I know we're designed to have a DH in the lineup, which makes 9 strong hitters.
It does it for every team.
No, yeah, and again, every team's going to have a guy that's going to struggle to win. And if you don't, then you're usually in the World Series.
Well, for me, if that's where we're at, go get Harrison Bader. He's probably the best defensive center fielder in the game. He can hit 230 all day long, and he's going to give you some pop every now and then when he gets a hold of one because the boy can swing hard.
But what do you give up for him?
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what he signed up with for the Mets, but I don't think they paid him much.
Yeah, I like what you're thinking, but like it says, that's how I think of it.
Well, I'm just saying, if we're going to bank on having a center fielder that hits 230, I'd rather have a different center fielder.
Yeah.
So that that shuffles the whole deal. So Tommy Edmond is out for how long? Dylan Carlson's in at center. Okay, fine. Defense will be fine. Offense is, I hope we get more than we have. So then it's, okay, now Lars Nootbaar's out for a little bit. So left field, we got to do something different. Now, I think Lars will be back soon. He'll probably be out this 2 weeks of the season. He'll be fine.
We need him those 2 weeks, too.
I know, but we're not going to get him. So left field, this is the other funny thing. If those who have not paid attention to spring training this year, Brendan Donovan has been playing left field a lot. And Nolan Gorman has been playing second base a lot. So I think they're testing both those boys out, trying to see what they can do in those spots because they know they're going to have to lean on them. And I'll be honest with you, Nolan Gorman at second has looked better to me, in my opinion, than Brendan Donovan has in left.
Yeah.
I think both can be serviceable and just fine, but I'd really rather have a stronger bat out there, maybe a Lars Nootbaar, maybe an Alec Burleson, which, okay, you're giving up something on the defensive side if you put Alec Burleson out there, but the dude can hit. He's a hitter.
Yeah, well, I mean, who's the lifeboat then? Is it Gorman at second, or is it,
Brendan Donovan can get on base.
When Nootbaar comes back, who goes to the bench?
Well, and that brings up a whole other question because now we have Brandon Crawford on the roster taking up a spot. So Nootbaar comes back. Sadly enough, Alec Burleson, a professional hitter, is probably going to go down to AAA.
Yeah.
Because you didn't sign a contract with Brandon Crawford to send him down to AAA. That's not the purpose. You also didn't sign a contract with Matt Carpenter to send him down to AAA.
No.
So I think that means Alec Burleson's out.
Yeah. Because again, Matt Carpenter, I wanted to talk about later in the podcast, but again, he's our DH, really.
Yeah.
When we brought him back to,
and he'll spell Goldie at first.
And that's what it is. And that's really what his job is.
Right.
So if you got a guy who's really another hitter, this year he's not really designed to be the hitter. That's why I said there's your writing on the wall. You're going back to AAA.
Right.
Especially if you're younger.
I'm not real pleased about that. I guess in my mind, okay, yes, Carlson is very important for this team at the moment specifically, but if we're picking and choosing who's going to play at the major league level and who's going to be at the major league level, I'd rather have Burleson on the squad and let Carlson go down to AAA and see if he can figure out how to hit again.
Yeah. how well everything goes over in the clubhouse. So
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, because
So anyway, it's interesting as far as the position players are concerned. The one name we have not brought up is Jordan Walker. I actually feel quite good about him. He's a big man. He's got a big bat. He's got a load of potential. He's got a big arm in right field, and he's accurate. And I love watching that guy throw runners out.
and that's what I'm saying. It just goes to potential. I mean, he's got to give us a little more than he's going to give us.
What are you talking about? Last year was great.
Oh no, I'm saying the spring.
Oh well, yeah.
And yeah, spring was and I know it's spring ball.
He's done okay for the spring. He's not doing what he did last year in spring training.
Yeah.
If he would have had this performance last year, he would not have broken the season with the big league club. That is fair to say, but it's also fair to say that he's now cemented his role on this team. He's not going anywhere.
No. But like I said, I just need a little more out of him.
Yeah.
Because he's capable.
Yeah.
He's not meeting my expectations. And again, last year fine, but like I said, as we talked about before the podcast started, I mean, Goldie was MVP, and then last year he dropped down.
Yep.
Again, you guys are professionals. You've got to give it all you've got.
Right. And that kind of takes us back to the conversation I was having earlier. Is that okay? It's spring training, so let's try to temper our expectations a little bit. And these are conversations I'm having with myself.
Yeah.
Because I'm getting a little anxious.
Mm-hmm.
But until the games start being played, we really can't judge too much, but we have to judge some.
Yeah.
So it's an awkward position we're in right now.
Yeah.
All right. So offensively, you kind of brought it up a little bit. Obviously, last year was a pretty big letdown across the board, really.
Yeah.
And we basically need everyone to step it up a little bit.
We need 75 hitters.
Right. We need someone to be able to take a leadoff role and be able to be at least a 350, 375, 400 on-base guy.
Yeah.
And we've got guys who can do that, but they need to do it. And then obviously we've got, the two stalwarts. We've got Goldie, we've got Arenado, and I think most would agree they both need to pick it up a little bit. Goldie had a fantastic year a couple years ago.
They were both underperforming last year.
Mm-hmm.
But again, you take those two out, then everybody really underperformed. If we could just get everybody at 265, we'd be okay.
Yeah.
But you go, your two best hitters are around 270, and then everybody else is at 240, 235. And like I said,
I personally would still be pretty frustrated with that, but I know what you're saying.
But I mean, it's probably an extra 6 or 7 hits a week, in 5 games.
Yeah.
And again, that's a roll of the dice, but it's probably going to get you another 10, 12 wins.
Yeah, I know.
So again, you look at the math. I guess this is kind of a strange money ball here, right? If you look at the math there, you look at the math with your blown saves, and now you're looking as opposed to 71 wins, now you're looking closer to 90 wins as you're striving for.
That's true. I mean, it's the striving for perfection that really leads people towards excellence. The perfection's never going to happen, but you got to be reaching for it. You got to always try to get better.
Exactly, and it's a simple game. It's a beautiful game when it's done right. It really is. And let's see, if we could just do what they're capable of doing, it'll all work out. I mean, that's the big if.
Yeah,
that's the big if there.
That's why we're sitting here talking about it. So I feel if the Cardinals can have a bare minimum top 15 offense, I would really like them to be in the top 10 offense, which I think they're capable of it.
Mm-hmm.
I think if they can do that, and if the pitching staff, being the rotation and the bullpen, if they can both step it up a little bit, I think now all of a sudden it's like, okay, we feel pretty good. We're going to take the division, and we're going to see what happens.
And I got to think, when it comes back to pitching, we've got to have more than 2, or at least 2 pitchers with a winning record. And I'm not saying 13 and 12. I'm saying something like,
I'll take 2 guys with 13 and 12 all day.
Yeah, but I'm saying for the 90 wins we want, we need to have guys that are like 18 and 9.
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't agree. The game has moved away from that. Wins are not as highly viewed as they used to be by the players, by front offices, everyone.
But here's
I wish that the pitchers themselves thought more about it because, and honestly, I wish the position players thought more about it because if you're not actively trying to make sure that your pitcher's getting a win, then it feels like you're not in it for the team.
Yeah.
I guess that's how I would describe it.
And what I'm saying about the wins is because that means they've been during the game long enough to where actually
Right.
there's rest of the middle arms, and again, that's what I think will help us progress to actually getting more wins for the season.
I don't think wins are the be-all, end-all, but I do wish they were more important to more people in this day and age.
Yeah. Well, I remember there was a time when it took 300 wins to get in the Hall of Fame, and now it's what, 2? So
you may never see another 200-game winner.
Yeah, and that's
Waino might be the last one.
And that's what's really
it's weird,
crazy about this game.
It's been an interesting shift, for better or for worse. All right, so all that being said, let's do some projections for this year. What do you think's going to happen? How many wins do you think we're getting? What place do you think we're getting in? Are we making the playoffs? Are we doing any damage in the playoffs? Ooh, I got one. Do you think we're going to go pick up another arm or two this season?
Yes, I do.
You do?
Yes,
okay.
I do. Because, like I said, you look
so
at
that telegraphs some of the
over,
other answers.
Yeah, if you look at our arms over the spring, nothing's really stood out for us.
There has not been a whole lot that has really clicked and felt good yet.
Yeah, I mean, they haven't really underperformed, but again, nothing's really wise. I guess Miles is doing okay.
We got a couple bullpen arms that are looking good.
Yeah, but I mean, we had a guy on our team last year who was throwing consistently upper 90s every now and then low hundreds. I mean, he wasn't a starter. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Talking about Jordan Hicks?
Yes.
105 mile per hour?
Yeah.
They traded him.
So
he signed up to be a starter with the
he was
Giants.
Gone, and then he was just going. And it was just, but he seemed to, I mean...
He got traded to the Blue Jays, and then this offseason he signed a contract with the Giants. In my opinion, a ridiculous contract.
Yeah.
Like 5 years or something, and they signed him up with the idea of being a starter, a position where he could be successful, but to this point he has not been successful really at all. So I thought that was kind of crazy. We'll see what happens. I do wish him well.
Yeah.
I love him as a pitcher.
We've got to see what's going on there.
Yeah.
But again, that's where we need to have consistency out of our starters, and that's why I said I like the 18-win totals, because again, we need starters getting later into the game.
18 plus 18 plus 18, and then add it up with all the other games and everything else.
Because we have 2 guys with winning records. 2 guys, like as I said, I'm dreaming for the moon here. One guy with 18, one guy with 17, another guy at 15. So 15 and 13. Okay?
And then, so is this your dream or is this your projection?
This is what I'm hoping.
Okay.
Yeah, my projection is no. I think our pitching staff's going to be the same this year. We're going to have a bunch of guys with 500. But I'm a pessimist by nature.
Okay. So our pitching staff, our starting rotation is going to be a bunch of 500 pitchers.
Yeah.
What does that mean for the Cardinals as a whole? How many wins are we getting, do you think?
Well, I said 95 last week because I think we're going to hit that.
Okay.
That's what I think, and I think with our mediocrity pitching at best, sorry Cardinal fans, I still think we're going to win more 7-5 games than lose, 9-7 games or lose 5-7 games.
We're certainly in a position to do that. I would agree.
And I think we'll win more games by a score of 75 and lose them. 75.
Yeah.
Again, I think if you're...
So are you still claiming 95?
I'm still claiming between, can I have a zone?
Because you just told me a minute ago you were a pessimist, and now you're telling me you're an optimist with this 95.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess the thing is, it's nice to see him win 95 all the time.
Yeah, I know. We got used to that. That was nice.
See, to me, greatness is like 105.
Yeah.
If
you can't get 100, you're not great. As a team.
And again, 100 wins is great. I think you're doing your job when you get between 99 and 89. You're kind of doing you came to good the ballpark again.
Okay. So sounds like you're projecting 90 plus.
Yes.
All right. As I said before, I was projecting 90-91. And then I got real nervous, and I've kind of calmed myself down a little bit. I think I'm now going to project 87 wins for the Cardinals. Still first place, but it's going to be close. I don't really think we're going to do much damage inside the playoffs unless we go pick up another pitcher or two. And I'm saying a got to be either a real solid number 3 or a number 2 pitcher and another good bullpen arm. Because we've seen so far, guys get hurt, things happen, and you got to have extra arms. Every single time you think you got enough pitching, you get shown that you're wrong and you're a fool. you got to go get got to have 2+ ready to go.
Yeah.
I think we've got some young guys that can help us out, but I think some of the really exciting, potentially really good ones are at least a year or 2 away, really.
Yeah.
So I don't think we can lean too heavily on that.
And also, I will annotate how we do in our first 2 series. Depending on if we go 500, I think definitely we'll get 90 wins. If we go 4-4 in our first 2 series against the Padres and the Dodgers, I'll say I'll still lose. Now let's say we go 0-8.
I know why you say that, but I don't think that's fair because again, we're out our best starting pitcher, we're out our left fielder, we're out our center fielder, and we're out a solid bullpen contribution.
Then I'm talking there goes our depth though. If these guys can win against those high-priced teams, then I'll say we're in it for the long haul.
Honestly, going to LA, going to San Diego, if we get 2 wins out of that, I'll be fairly happy.
That's what I'm kind of expecting. But I'm saying if we can go, and again, I'm not asking for
not looking
my
for a
kid
miracle.
to be the center fielder.
Yeah,
The St. Louis Cardinals. But I said if we can go 4-4, then I think we got something.
that'd be nice. All right. Well, I think that's where we're at. We're hoping for a division championship, and we're hoping for some extra arms.
Yes.
So let's see how they play later today. Game's at 6:40, and we'll go from there.
We'll go from there.
All right. Thanks, Matt. Go Cardinals.
Go Cardinals. Bye, everybody. I'll tell you. Because it could be, a really good.
Hey y'all, thank you so much once again for joining us for this episode of Redbeard Talks Redbirds podcast. Make sure you go over there, hit like and subscribe for this channel, and don't forget to hit that notification button. Make sure you don't miss the next episode. Let's go Cardinals!